관중 여러분, 방금 종료된 3코트의 남자 단체 1라운드 경기는 홍콩이 몰디브의 게임 스코어 3대 0으로 승리하여 8강전에 진출하였습니다. Now, we'll announce the result of Court 3. Men's team event round 1 just finished. Hong Kong, China defeated Maldives by a game score 3-2-0.
Final on my right, Korea, represented by Hyun and on my left, India, represented by Kashyap PARUPALLI. India to serve, double play.
So it's India to serve in this second singles match of the men's team competition, opening round. Kashyap PARUPALLI representing India, taking on Hyun from Korea. PARUPALLI currently ranked 28th in the world. Lee, 62nd. That's a wonderful overhead to get his first points on the board. Huge angle on that cross court.
Comes over, 3-1. Over, 4-3. Five, 3.
Oh, the crowd trying to inspire Lee. He's just got a few points in succession. He trails 6-3 to PARUPALLI. Played that shot particularly well during the course of this match so far. Early stages, when he retreats to that far corner, able to play the inside-out overhead very well indeed.
Service over, 7-5.
Parupalli with the relatively easy decision to let that one sail harmlessly out of bounds. 8-5. Very well disguised from Parupalli. Driven towards the back of the court. Wound up as though he's going to unleash a thunderous overhead, and instead it was a deft drop shot just in front of the net. Wonderful play. Great camera angle of just short under the attempted shot to tickle it over the net. Well, at the 11-point interval, he arrived at that point with Lee producing 2 strokes from his backhand, but I'm sure he would like to play again. One attempting to drop it over the net. A final stroke before to make it 11-5. Just tried to find the acute angle. On each occasion just found the net instead. So it's Parupalli, 28th ranked player in the world, the 28-year-old from India, who has the momentum in his favor.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds.
7th in the Asian Games Team Championships in Doha back in 2006. Was a quarter-finalist in the singles competition at the London Olympic Games. Same position he reached at the World Championships in Guangzhou, China last year.
11-5, play.
So Parupalli leading 11-5. Well left from Parupalli. Well, lead. Just in danger of being overwhelmed during the course of this first game here. Executed a couple of nice overheads in the early stages. Since that time, it's practically been one-way traffic in favor of Parupalli.
이어서 이번 코트에서는 태국과 대만의 세 번째 경기로 태국의 한홍상 사인손분상 선수와 대만의 푸수젠 하오 선수의 남자 단식 경기가 있겠습니다. 주심은 한국의 김용상 씨, 부심은 한국의 강신준 씨, 선심은 비조입니다. Court 2, third match, second men's single, Thailand, represented by Yong-sang Sain-Sonbun-soo.
Well, the man from Hyderabad
Miss Taipei,
in a
represented
commanding
by
position during the course of this first game.
Umpire Mr. Kim Yong-sang, Republic of Korea.
hasn't managed to get a toe hold in it at all. Parupalli's judgment just awry on that one. So game point now for Kashyap Parupalli. Lee misjudging that. Shuttlecock landing in bounds. And so for the first time during the course of this men's team match, the home team Korea have lost a game, because it is Kashyap Parupalli, the 28-year-old from Hyderabad, who has taken the opening game by a score of 21 points to 6 in what was a pretty comfortable and commanding display by the man from India. So all well in the Indian camp. It was competitive early on, but then this man got the momentum in his favour and never released it. Kept the pressure on, kept the shot variety, which was enough to keep Lee guessing. Lee made a few unforced errors as well.
Will now announce the result of KOR 4. Men's team event round 1 just finished.
This man will be looking for more of the same. Took up the sport at the age of 11 with Parupalli. We mentioned the fact that he made it through to the quarter-finals in London 2012. Of course, that one of his most memorable achievements within the sport. They would desperately love to get a podium finish here. So he's up against the might of Korea during the course of this team competition, but the manner in which he started suggests that he could get a win on the board in this second singles match. He leads Lee Hyun-il 1-0 and took it in commanding fashion as well. The second game, Parupalli to serve, leading 1-0. And the crowd really are doing their best to rouse their man. Takes the opening point of this second game. Delightful, but just wide, but the angle that Parupalli made really was acute. Got into position quickly. It's gone against him. Well, he's had a tremendous amount of success during the course of his Asian Games career. Lee Hyun-il. team gold back in 2002, the last time the Asian Games were hosted here. That was in Busan. And he was part of that team. He's had silver medals in the team competition in 2010 and 2006. He's a silver medalist in the singles competition back in Busan as well. And he's part of a really strong team again here that is gunning for nothing less than top spot on the podium here at their home Asia.
Service over. 4-5. All.
So it's back to parity,
Play.
5-all. Oh, terrific play. Incredible effort from both players. Parupalli was hurling himself all over the court in the closing moments of that rally, what proved to be the closing moments, and with the court at his mercy, Lee made no mistake. But look at that for a retrieval. And again, tossing himself to the court, Parupalli can afford to smile. And that is an incredible effort. Good to see him moving with full mobility. Suffered a shoulder injury which appeared to be rather debilitating in December of last year. It's a partial dislocation. It troubled him into the early part of this year as well. But he seems to have been able to remove the strapping. That became a part of his kit at the early part of the season. And the way he was moving during the course of that rally suggests that any ill effects he was feeling from it are now well and truly behind him.
6 all. Service over. 7-6. Service over. 7-all.
That's a terrific overhead from Parupalli.
8-7.
Oh yes, emphatic
9-7.
and beyond the outstretched backhand of Lee. So absolutely nothing in it as we approach the 11-point interval. 9-all.
Service over. 10-all.
And it's Korea who go to the 11-point interval in the lead. But it's as tight as can possibly be. Lee Hyun-il, 11. And Kashyap PARUPALLI, 10 in this second game. Third time these two players have met, but the first time for a couple of years. In the head-to-head matchup, it is Lee who has a 2-1 advantage. They took their most recent encounter at the Singapore Open back in 2012. There's 2 games to love, 21-18 and 21-12. They met earlier in 2012 at the Thomas and Uber Cup as well. It was PARUPALLI who prevailed in that one, 2 games to love. And their first meeting was way back in 2006.
11-10. Play.
So Lee to serve, 11-10. Wonderful shot. It's hugging the line on that final overhead smash. His accuracy is really impressive. How about that for a fine margin? Oh, yes. Elevation, terrific control on that final overhead. So PARUPALLI, now would be a good time to find something to arrest the momentum being built up by Lee. And he's done just that. 12-16 down. Can he put a series of points together on his serve? Remember, PARUPALLI took the opening game 21-6. Second game altogether more competitive. Not arrest any momentum that Parupalli was building up. Lee finding the finish with that overhead smash. Net cord going in favor of Lee on that occasion. 3 points away from taking this second game. So game point for Lee now. And he seizes it at the first opportunity. Lee Hyun-il ties things up at 1 game all in this second singles match in this encounter between Korea and India. Well, that an altogether different match from the altogether different encounter from the first game. Parupalli ran away with that one, 21 points to 6. But here, turning the tables and tying it up at 1 game all after prevailing 21 points to 14 during that second game. So we're going to a decider. Remember, in the context of this men's team match, Korea took the opening singles encounter and the first doubles encounter as well. So we'll be looking to get an unassailable 3-0 lead over India if Lee can continue with the momentum that he built up during the course of that second game and close it out to prevail 2-1. Parupalli, of course, will have other ideas as India look to get their first win on the board in this men's team match. Remember, waiting at the quarter-final stage for the victors are Japan, who received a bye. They didn't have to compete in a round of 16. Both players now back out onto the court. And a crowd here at the Gaeyang Gymnasium making their presence felt. Clapping the thunder sticks, stomping their feet, and waving Korean flags in an effort to inspire Lee in this final game. Brilliant rally. And what a way to finish from Lee. Pounced on that overhead after both players demonstrated a wide variety of shot making throughout that exchange. Two fourth place Olympic finishes in the singles competition for Lee. In London 2 years ago and Beijing before that, so just missing out on Olympic hardware. But Hai would love to repeat the team success he experienced in the Asian Games back in 2002. Hai would love to repeat that here in front of a home crowd once again. That particular edition was in Busan. Here we're in South Korea's western port city of Incheon. They're staging a terrific Asiad. And Lee is being inspired by the atmosphere the fans are generating. He dropped the opening game, wasn't really competitive, conceding it 21 points to 6. Turned things around during the course of the second game and has started brightly here. 4-2, deciding game. Oh, again, it's a breathtaking exchange. Lee withstanding everything that PARUPALLI is tossing at him. And he is the last man standing once again after another breathtaking rally. The celebrations well deserved at the end of that encounter. A really bruising point. And listen to the fans making their presence felt here at the Gaeyang Gymnasium. No doubt about who the home fans are favouring. PARUPALLI won't want to let this crowd become too significant a factor during the course of this match. Well left by the player from India. Thought about it and was relieved to see the line judge outstretch their arm to indicate that it was wide. Well, every point that Lee secures is cheered to the rafters here at the Gaeyang Gymnasium. Any success for PARUPALLI is met with relative silence, almost silence. In stark contrast to that type of finishing shot from Lee. An attritional encounter, this one. We've gone to the deciding game. Both players fighting for every precious point. 9-3. Well, Lee really is beginning to dominate this game now. 1 point away from the 11-point interval. And PARUPALLI has got to find some answers. Took the opening game 21-6, but then has faced an onslaught from an inspired Hyun. So the 11-point break. The home fans have plenty to cheer about because their man, Hyun is leading 11 points to 5 and threatening to produce another decisive run to take this third game, which would be the deciding game, and take this second singles match to give Korea an unassailable 3-0 lead in this team competition. They're hoping that PARUPALLI can find something to arrest the momentum that Lee has been able to muster. So Lee to serve, 11-3. Unforced error from the backhand from PARUPALLI. The crowd delighted by that. PARUPALLI less than impressed. And Lee well and truly in the ascendancy now. PARUPALLI's radar continues to be a little out of kilter here. And the crowd taking their opportunity during this brief interlude to cheer Lee to the rafters once more. PARUPALLI is really going to have to do something with this serve. And it's conceded immediately. 17-5 now. Lee moving closer towards the finish in the second singles match. Wonderful angle created on that final forehand from Lee. And all of PARUPALLI's fighting quality is going to be put to the test now. Finding the line on that, what proved to be the final shot in that rally. Parupalli losing his footing, all of the court at the mercy of Lee. And he made no mistake executing the drop shot to move within 2 points of taking this second singles match. Well left by Lee. And that brings up match point for the 34-year-old. Well, that's a good response from Parupalli. Competing right until the finish. But one suspects that the finish will be in the Koreans' favor. Misjudged that one, no? Did Lee? Little rally being mounted by Parupalli here. Always a danger when you're in sight of the finish line that focus doesn't remain as absolute as it once was to get you there. Well, the response of the crowd here at the Gaeyang Gymnasium tells you that their man, Lee Hyun-il, has just prevailed in this second singles match over India's Kashyap Parupalli in what was quite a remarkable match, because in the first game he was dominated. Dropped that one 21 points to 6. Came back to take the second one in relatively comfortable fashion, 21-14. And then here in the deciding game, it is Lee Hyun-il who has prevailed to give Korea an unassailable 3-0 lead in this match, 21-10 in the deciding game, and Korea now lead India by a margin of 3 matches to 0. They took the first singles match, they took the opening doubles match, and here in the second singles match they've prevailed as well. 3-0 after 3 completed matches, and that